Testing, 1, 2, 3, check, check. Is this thing on? Kidding. Hello everyone. Today I'm going to examine sociocultural theory within second language acquisition as I share my personal experience learning French. Very briefly and simply, to cover the main point of sociocultural theory, the theory emphasizes social interaction, it examines social processes, it was influenced by theories of human development. It was not necessarily a theory that specifically targeted second language acquisition. It is a mediated process and it focuses on meaning making. Alright, so to provide some background into my language acquisition experience when learning French as a second language, I attended English schools throughout my education. However, I was part of the French immersion program in elementary and high school, which included French classes daily that were about an hour to an hour and a half. During high school, I took science and history in French in addition to my French classes. And my extracurricular activities, ballet and soccer, also took place in French, which provided me with an additional opportunity to speak with my peers and coaches in my second language during casual conversations that created more spontaneous conversation and allowed us to talk about topics that strayed from the classroom. While both of my parents also grew up in Montreal and learned French, we spoke English at home. While I did try to make a visual representation of the ZPD model with paper, it ended up looking like an uneven dinosaur egg, so here is a visual model I made digitally instead. Let's take a look at an example of my personal ZPD when learning to read in French. Looking at the orange circle, what I can do, I could pronounce individual vowel and consonant sounds, as well as recognize basic vocabulary. Applying Vygotsky's model to my personal zone of proximal development, with help, I was able to read full sentences and string together sounds. Often in my French classes, we would have reading partners from older grades that would come into our class to help us read in French each week. It is also important to consider that the zone of proximal development for each student may not be the same, and for that reason, my teacher integrated reading partners. I just realized I've been saying ZPD instead of ZPD for all those audience members cringing. Yes, a Canadian is saying ZPD, ZPD didn't sound right. Lantoff also emphasizes praxis, the crucial need for theory and practice to be equal in relation to study, which I was able to obtain through my extracurricular activities as well as in-class activities and after-school programs. It was through my extracurricular activities that I was also able to talk things through, applying the concept of languaging. Private speech was a concept I integrated frequently into my L2 acquisition through thoughts and internal dialogue in my L1 and L2. I also practiced vicarious response, a term mentioned by Oda in the Lantoff article, explaining that mentally students will respond to questions asked to others. And I was quite shy in school, so I had the answers, but I was not keen to share them or interrupt and call out what I thought. In terms of mediation, I was able to mediate my knowledge of French through talking to various types of people, including my teachers, my classmates, my teammates, and my coaches, as well as through reading. Throughout the process of learning French, I used scaffolding as I integrated previous knowledge in English, as well as the basics I knew in French to acquire new knowledge. Thinking about imitation, I often used imitative suggestion as I closely followed the original model of language provided by my teacher, mimicking phrases she would say or vocabulary words. And in more casual settings, I often borrowed vocabulary from my coaches and friends. These moments of imitation helped me prepare for future interactions and conversations in French. While they were not the same exact models, they did not need to be in order to support my language needs. A few final points to consider. Social interactions may not benefit all learners to the same extent, and further research must be conducted within the field of SLA in relation to socialization theory. Thank you.